Hey, thanks for watching today. We're really excited to have another over-the-counter tax investing news video for you. The last 2 months, we've had some big announcements, and you guys, some of you have reached out and told me how you were able to capitalize on that, cash in on some of these new OTC markets. So it's super exciting for us. So today we're going to show you another new OTC market. We're also going to show you the other markets we already had and what's changed in the last month and even just the last few days. So to give you the scoop on that, you have that first chance to shop in those. And we have two other announcements to cover too. So let's dive in. And the first thing I want to tell you about is our online meetup. So if you are watching this video before September 9th, which is a Tuesday, and as long as it's before 8 p.m. Eastern, you can still get in on our online meetup. It's going to be 8 o'clock Eastern, Tuesday, September 9th. You can register on our site. You go to this connect menu. Up at the top, there's a next online meetup link that takes you to this page. If you happen to be on the dashboard on Parcel Fair, then there's this big green banner up top. Don't miss our next meetup. Takes you to the exact same page there. But yeah, 8 o'clock, we're going to spend 30 minutes at the front end of the meeting for a casual meet and greet. This is for any Parcel Fair subscriber, so feel free to join. At 8:30 Eastern, we're going to start a live Q&A session. It's going to be hosted by me. And we're going to have special guest Jesse Loomis, CEO of Bid for Assets. We're also going to have some GovDeals representation on the call. We're going to talk about a lot of things, tax deed auctions mainly, but we're also going to cover things like exit strategies and some of those other things based on your questions, which means in this registration form, be sure to list your questions or topic here, and we'll work them in as best we can. I know some of you have asked some very market-specific questions, and we may not be able to cover some of those really niche questions, but we will get back to you on those. Anyways, would love to have you at the online meetup. We're trying to get these more regular on the calendar. All right, so our next announcement before I get to some OTC news here is we added some new features, and this is going to be on a property report. This is that left-hand side just below the estimates and comps. There's this section called recommended next steps, and for a while we've had one option in here. We've had the let's see, the clear title, the blue one here, the bottom. We've added two more this week. The first one is for investment property funding. It's a free consultation. If you click that button, you get a form to connect you. And basically, that's getting you a consultation. If you're trying to fund your tax deed, your rehab project, something like that, then this could be a good fit for you. It's a very common question we get, and this is a chance just for us to put you front lines right there for that free consultation for funding. The second one is a title report, nationwide title searches. What this does, it disconnects you right up with Blazor Title Search, takes you straight to their site so you can get your title search done there. And of course, the last one we've talked about before, but that's tax title services. If you're needing to clear a title, there's a free online consultation that we connect you with there. So we're going to keep adding next steps. We have some more ideas. We'd love to hear yours, but this section is going to keep getting fleshed out. But for now, you have three solid options there. It's just below the purchase options, which is probably the most important button on the screen. That's how you're going to be buying a property. In this case, we're looking like a Mississippi OTC property, but right below that, don't miss those three next steps that really help you move forward with the property after you've purchased. Or if you're just thinking about purchasing and you want to do the title search, like this is just great next steps for you if you're getting serious about buying a property. Okay, so let's get back to presentations. I know we have covered this several times, but I don't want to take for granted that this might be either your first time watching or it might be something you still need to hear. We want to cover misconceptions about over-the-counter purchases and make sure that you know what you're getting into, because auctions, they're pretty straightforward. Over-the-counters, not always. So the first misconception, all tax auction leftovers become available for purchase over-the-counter. So that is not entirely true. Not every county, not every state has a mechanism for selling over-the-counter. So those states are going to sell their leftovers through later auctions, or they, like Indiana or New Jersey, or some of them sell eventually through land banks. That's going to be sometimes like even years after an auction. Examples of that are Georgia and Tennessee. There's select counties only that are in the states that do it this way. Next misconception, only junk properties are left over from auctions. I get this a lot. Like, why in the world would anything good ever be available over the counter? Well, there's several possibilities there. And frankly, the proof is that we have like 150,000 OTC properties, and a lot of them have value. So many large auctions don't have enough bidders to buy everything that's for sale. Okay, that just means there's going to be leftovers because there was so much for sale they couldn't sell it all. This is Very common in markets like Baltimore City, Maryland, or Jefferson, Alabama. A lot of these markets just have so much going on, like Lake County, Indiana, that just can't liquidate it all. So leftovers from an auction just because the bidders ran out of money and they just couldn't get to it all. Some auction advertisements can be obscure, cryptic, or just not well publicized. Counties don't always have strong motivation or maybe even skills to put a well advertised list out there. So some of these auctions fly under the radar, which means you're going to have leftovers because nobody knew about the auction. All right, so 3 quick misconceptions here. Purchasing tax property over the counter is easier than buying at auction. Well, every process is going to be different. Some of these application processes for over the counters can be very complicated. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. I just want you to know what you're getting into. It's not always easier than auction. You do actually get less competition is one thing. Don't mix that up though. Easier means you have steps with less friction is what I would consider. The next one is going to be purchasing tax property that count is faster than buying at auction. Similar to that first one, you might have friction. You might have slow processes. It could be waiting on a price quote or just waiting on a response, or maybe the county or the land bank has to go get approval to make the sale to you. It can take weeks or longer, some cases months. All right, the last misconception on this screen, purchasing tax property over the counter is cheaper than buying at auction. You might think that because if there's nobody competing with you and bidding, maybe you're going to get a better deal. But since properties left over from auction continue to accrue their unpaid taxes and interest and fees and penalties, basically this tax is owed. What you'd have to buy for are just going to keep growing. So uh, since you could have bought it at auction for the minimum bid, since no one else bid on it, then technically over the counter you're paying more than you would have paid at auction. So don't miss out on auctions. There is an appeal to over the counter properties. I get it. You should consider them. You should keep them as a tool in your tool belt. But I'm just trying to encourage you to not be one dimensional in your investing strategy. Consider auctions, consider over the counters, learn to buy both. Uh, and so let's move on. So some general guidance for finding deals in a new tax investing market. And I know you're sitting through this part of the video, maybe your second, third, fourth time hearing this, but we're going to get to a new market today. And this is going to be especially useful for you. This general guidance, when you're learning a new market or state, don't presume that you know anything. Just come into it fresh. It's like if you're playing Monopoly and you've never played Clue before, you wouldn't just pick up Clue and play it like Monopoly. You have to figure out the rules. You have to learn it. So don't presume that you can play or learn a market just because you know another market. Because every state is different. Competition can be different. It can vary seasonally based on the location. And then sometimes those best deals, they're just not where you'd expect. I'm constantly surprised. I've been doing this for 10 years, constantly surprised at where the deals are. It's staggering sometimes. For example, don't ever presume that OTC is the cheapest, fastest, or preferred way to buy. We just said all that. So don't presume that when you go into a new market. Instead, come into it with fresh eyes. Focus on learning how that state works. Keep an open mind about the best way to buy. And for crying out loud, learn the real estate market there. I can tell you everything you want to know about OTC deeds and auctions and liens and everything. But if you don't understand the local market, you're just buying property with no idea if it would sell, if it has value, if you can liquidate it. Are you stuck with it? And there are exit strategies if you get stuck with a property. We can talk about that. But don't just go into it thinking, hey, I bought property, I'm good. You need to know the real estate market as well. Okay, so enough of the doom and gloom. I didn't mean to scare you off. I just want to make sure that you are not one dimensional and just look for OTCs. You need to be balanced in your tax investing. So let's talk about the opportunity. Where are the OTCs? How many are there? And what gets left over? So let's do a quick breakdown. When you have an auction, we're going to take 2024. We're going to compare it and say we tracked on Parcel Fair about 1.12 million auction listings. We're tracking way ahead of that in 2025. So I can't wait to have this year's numbers at the end of the year put in this slide. So out of all those listings, when you look at how many were unsold and became OTCs, about 155,000. Okay, so when you look at it that way, 13% of what went to auction made it to OTC. So if you limit yourself to only OTCs, you're limiting yourself to 13% of the available market. So again, encouragement to look at both auctions and OTCs. And now we're going to talk about where the OTCs are by state. Okay. We had 16 last month. We're going to show you 17 this month. Let's see if you can figure out the 17th one. So Arizona still tops there with about 32,000. Alabama is second with 18.5. That's going to fluctuate and vary pretty frequently. Arizona is typically just going down this time of year because the auctions are like January, February, maybe into March. So you're getting OTCs around March and later. West Virginia doubled in size this month. So you can guess where we're going to talk about our featured market and opportunity to buy today. 17,500 opportunities in West Virginia, leaping to number 3 on our leaderboard here for OTCs. It passed Florida, it passed Mississippi, Pennsylvania, all of those. Still excellent opportunities in those states, just kind of moving down the list here. But as you can see, the lion's share are really in like the top 4 states. Anything with over 10,000 OTCs really grabs your attention. We are always finding new ones, and updating the ones that we have. We're just always trying to keep this up to date for you. A little pie chart on the right kind of gives you an idea. Arizona's the big blue chunk pie, Alabama the big red chunk, and then West Virginia the green chunk moving down. Florida, Mississippi, and you start to kind of see the slices of the pie get pretty skinny when you're talking about Tennessee, Wisconsin, and Maryland. They have a couple thousand OTCs roughly in those states. Okay, we're going to move on. I know you want to get to the live demo. You want to see our featured market. I'm excited to share it with you too. Last month we covered Mobile, Alabama. A lot of you made a lot of money on that. I know firsthand from you telling me that people not only were able to buy liens rapidly based on our last video, we broke the news the night before the county started taking phone call purchases. Those of you that called the next day bought them uncontested with no competition at full 12% interest. Some of you are holding them. Some of you are hoping to foreclose. Some of you bought enough to foreclose immediately. And some of you have already flipped them for a profit. Okay. This is serious stuff. When you get the scoop on a market, you should pay attention and move on it. So we're going to switch gears. We're going to go to that demo. What we're going to do first is talk about West Virginia. So instead of going to Parcel Fair to begin with, I'm going to start on the West Virginia State Auditor's Office website to show you what we're looking at. So this page is like a Swiss Army knife. It has all of these different search forms and panels, and they use the state's terminology. So you have to read Certified to State, SB 552, Land County Collections. Well, the short of it is we're going to skip over that section because that is going to be the annual sales that happened earlier this year. They left the form up, so now you just need to kind of skip over it and go. We have land sales pre-registration, nothing going on there. Land sale listings, nothing going on. I think if I remember correctly, land sales listings, these are ones that have matured and go to like the sheriff. These are like last chance, almost like OTCs, but they're ready to be sold. There's no handouts. But let's go to this section, certified to deputy land commissioners. Well, what does that mean to you? Probably what it meant to me a few weeks ago, which was I have no clue. But we have called the county. Our researchers did a great job pulling this information together. I'm here to redistribute and share my understanding of it that we have from our chat with the county. First of all, this right side of the screen, this big white chunk, there used to be a video here. Well, the county tells us that video is coming back. That video is coming back on October 1st. So more about October 1st. If we go to the homepage here and click to the second slide here, you see all bids are closed and please check October 1st. Well, we have a date. Bids that are opening on October 1st. We called the county and confirmed. The video is going to come back on the screen that walks you through the bidding process. And in the meantime, you can actually do some searching. I've already pre-selected Roane County. You have to select one county at a time because there's so many results. We're going to skip all of these middle fields. I'm going to select no bid because we know those are going to be available OTC. I'm going to set my record for page to 100, and we're going to search. Okay, so there's our first property. This certificate right here is going to be for sale. We have a little map to look at it and some images of the property. I think we can look, yeah, so there's actually those images with like documents. But this is a no bid property that will be available October 1st. And actually, we go back to my results. Sorry, there we go. We can scroll and scroll and scroll. There's 100 of them on this one screen. And not only that, we can click each one of these and do some homework, but we have 13 pages with 1,213 results, and we're only on one county. Okay, this is where Parcel Fair really comes in and saves you so much time, because over here on my map search, I have 17,503 parcels on my map, pre-mapped, looking at them without having to go click every one at a time. And if you've used Parcel Fair before, you know what I'm about to do. I'm going to go see how many of those have improvements. This is an OTC inventory, so out of 17.5, only 745 have structures listed on them. Okay, well, that just saved me days of work, or my virtual assistant, or whoever's going to click through the county site over here one at a time and double check them. So that saved me a ton of time already. Now, if I mean, I can either keep filtering that list down. I can do from the total value, the taxes owed, something like that. But since I'm in an area I'm not really familiar with, I may just do helicopter mode. Let's see, I'm going to satellite over this city called Charleston. I'm going to zoom in and just take a look. I see some different houses and rooftops and things going on here. That one's a pretty small rooftop, little shed. So I can kind of keep looking around just until something catches my eye. Uh, Again, this is what I call helicopter mode. It's just because I'm not really being scientific. I'm just kind of looking at rooftops, and there's one right there with the rooftop. So we are looking at a tax lien. The amount due is not published. It looks like it's this little house right here that's kind of a deeper lot. The value from the county is 26.7, but my ARV based on comps and real data, sales marketing data up to date from the market, $45,000 is the ARV, which means if I had an after repair value of this house on that size of a lot, that square footage, everything, that's what I'd be looking at. The estimated rent is $790 a month. It looks like I could do something like that. So if I'm able to get this property buy over the counter, that's what I would be looking at doing with that tax lien. Is the lien needs to mature, and then I'm gonna foreclose, and now I've got an asset on my hands. So let's go look at those sales comps. I'm gonna hit view sales comps there. And you can see all the 2 1s in the area with roughly 900 square feet on pretty small acreage. And these are all 99% matches in the first few. And you see their prices all over the place between 34 and 75 grand, 20 grand. So there's a lot of variance here. But again, if you're only paying a couple $1,000 and you're going to be able to foreclose for a little bit more, you're doing well with your money. You might 10x or 5x your money on this deal, depending on what needs to happen to the property once you buy it. So that's kind of how a deal starts. That's how you would begin looking through a deal, calculating, am I going to rent this? I'm going to flip it. What am I going to do? And how much time do I have to do it? Let's see. So that's the helicopter mode. But if I want to be a little more scientific, let's do on the right side. I can take these 745 results that are scattered all over the state. I'm going to go view them. Actually, I'm going to save them as a list. I'm going to save them because I don't want to lose my work. I'm trying to get a better habit of doing that. So let's do West VA, and I'm gonna call it my OTC shop. Oops, OTC shopping list. Now, this is gonna be a bit of a process because I'm gonna go over here and have 745 of these to look at. But remember, what I'm doing is this is my shopping list for October 1st. When October 1st comes around, I'm looking at Wetzel County, Nicholas County, Wayne County, all over the state. This is basically where I'm going to curate my list of what I'm thinking of buying. And the process that's going to be in that video from the state, from all indications that we talked with the county, it sounds like it's going to be a bid form, and your bid is going to have some time on the books where someone can outbid you. Now, here's what I don't know. I don't know if they're going to post a minimum bid. I don't know if they're going to post a suggested bid. I don't know if you're bidding blind. So these are questions because we're on the bleeding edge of how this process works. We don't have much information yet from the state, but we're waiting on it. But I'm getting this information in front of you about 3 weeks plus in advance because this could be your advantage. This could be your chance to go figure it out, figure the bidding process out, find out if it's something you want to do, and move forward because we're all learning at the same pace here. I'm just trying to catch you up to where we are. I want you to get ahead of us. I want you to be down the road buying these properties and ready to invest in the next market that you're looking at. But all that to say, we're speculating a bit on the bidding process. It sounds kind of like a sealed bid. It does sound like there's a bit of a waiting period once you place a bid for someone to outbid you. So let's all see how that goes. It also let's see, lost my place there. uh, yeah, we're looking for that video from the county really to get those answers. But I think it's exciting to look at a market like this that we're on the bleeding edge of. We don't know much about, and it's your chance to have an advantage. You can wait a few months. dip a toe in the water later, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you the people that got the best deals will have already gotten the best deals. So if you want to be on the front end of this, West Virginia is coming out in just over 3 weeks. The video will be on the website. Let's go back a screen here. I will post a link to this page in the video description, so you can on this YouTube page right here. That way you can watch out for when this releases if you want to buy in West Virginia. Now, so this is kind of our exciting market of the month, featured market if you want to call it. We already have next month at least one plan to show you, so I hope you keep watching these videos because we're going to have a lot of these. So let's switch gears, and we're just going to go through some states on our inventory tracker. This can be found in Parcel Fair under the Tools menu. It's the fourth option, OTC Inventory Report. I'm going to teach you how to fish. We're going to look at this. We're going to start with Alabama. Last month, let's just click on this green bar and look at last month. This is August of 2025. We had 1,400 parcels added. A good chunk of those were in Mobile, about 1,100 of them. Let's see. The month before that, we scooped the Montgomery market for you. Montgomery had, I think, 400 or 500 released OTCs. So a lot of you got the jump on that in July. In August, you were able to get the jump on Mobile. The process was fantastic. You were able to buy over the phone. And here's the good news. Well, mixed news, I guess. Let's click on Mobile County and filter. You see a spike last month. We added 1,116, and you see since then 291 have been purchased. Okay, so that was you guys listening to the video, getting the first heads up on this market and buying up about a third of it, well, less than a third, all within just a few weeks. Interesting enough, 3 new properties showed up this month when they put out their September list, and 291 disappeared. That means there's still a lot left. Let's cover this. I think, well, by my math, it's about 800 left. Problem with Mobile is you have a mix of these are over-the-counter liens. There are also deeds there too. So if you're searching on the map, let's just go over here and click on Alabama, and let's go to Mobile. And I'm gonna clear my filters out. So 732. If you want to see those liens, go over here to liens only under availability. Well, now there's 831. If you want to see the deeds that are available from the state, there's 900 of those, almost the same amount. So if you are targeting one or the other, we can save you about half the time right there with that one filter. If you want to get really tricky and start looking at, oh, I only want properties with at least 2 liens available. Well, there's 400 of those, about half the list. What about 3 liens or more? Okay, 4 liens or more? There's still a bunch with 4 liens or more. If you're buying 4 liens, once you have 4 liens that have matured, you can begin foreclosure. So that's what's powerful here is if you are shopping in Mobile, you may find something you can act on very quickly. And I know a lot of you say, I just want to buy OTC deeds. Well, what if you buy 4 OTC liens on a property that you can foreclose on immediately? That's a whole lot like a deed because you're basically going to buy the property and foreclose on it. So don't sleep on OTC liens. We talked about West Virginia, now we're talking about Mobile. And let's go back to Alabama real quick and to see there were other counties in the mix in September so far. There's only 7 properties. We're only weekend, but Jefferson and Talladega had some properties in there too. And of course, last month you can see those as well. A lot of counties in the mix. So Alabama, it's year round. There's always something going on. Don't forget the resellers. There's always some action in Alabama to be paying attention to. So we're going to close on Alabama. Let's move on to Washington, D.C. next. This is a market that we broke to you guys, the auction market in July, the OTC market in August, and a bunch of you were able to buy. We added 461 parcels to that market in August, and 35 were purchased. There's already been 6 purchased in September and 11 added. So what we're looking at here is that August dump of properties was just the start. We're actually seeing more add-ins. So in DC, what we're looking at is going to be these 11 new properties and 6 removed. I can see the removed properties too. So this is what people have bought in September. But let's go back. So in DC, you're going to, let's take a property here. You'll click on the purchase options right here and basically follow these instructions on this link right here. And if you want to see the sources, they're all here listed as well. But this will take you through the process, this PDF of how to buy with screenshots. Once you've learned it, you'll get there pretty quick. But the first time, make sure you pay attention to what you're doing. We're not going to go through those steps. You can read the PDF if you're interested in DC. Okay, we have some news in Arkansas. Remember, the inventory took a dramatic dip over the summer, June, July. It hit a low in July of 93 parcels. And if you go back in time, we used to have 27,000 parcels here back in 2020. So 5 year period from 27,000 OTCs down to 93. But as promised by the state, we are replenishing with 126 added in August and another 539 already added in September. That's because their auction season's going on. And as soon as an auction closes, they have the OTCs on the site, the leftovers in 30 days. So 539 OTCs right here for you to look at in Arkansas. So you can click any one of these and go straight to the bidding page. Right here, we have links to it for you. We'll continue straight on to that bid on this $365 bid. It's a leftover property. It kicks off kind of a mini auction, like a one single property auction, and you can basically track it and either outbid your competition or you can give up on it. It's up to you. But we still count these as over the counter because they were left over, and you're basically buying in like a single property bidding process. So that's why we classify those as OTCs. Also because our customers, from feedback from you guys, say that that makes more sense since they are the leftovers. Let's move on to Arizona. Quickly covered here. 9 new parcels in September. That August had 341 new ones. If you're shopping in Arizona, there could be good deals that pop up at random times like this. It looks like a couple, Maricopa, a $63,000 chunk of land on the side of some kind of highway here. So I don't know what's going on there. But if you live in Maricopa, you could check it out. It looks like it's actually a unit and a storage unit. I had no idea that you could even do that. So Arizona will sell you a tax lien on a storage unit condo right there, unit number 95. So there you go. I learned something new every time I use Parcel Fair. But Arizona tax liens, you had a few new ones unleashed. Let's move on to Colorado. This is going to be quick because Colorado only had stuff removed. In August, they had 34 new, and September, we've had 22 removed. Nothing new in Colorado so far. Florida, on the other hand, there's always stuff going on in Florida. We had 94 added already in the first week and 283 removed. Most of these are going to be tax liens. You'll see the occasional OTC deed in Florida. Pretty rare, though. In fact, there were none added so far this month. It just takes quite a bit of process for a property to make it to an OTC deed is rare. But these Florida OTC liens, they're from sources all over the place that we've aggregated here. So based on the county you're looking at, just shop accordingly. I'll just show you what I mean. Broward County Health Certificates. If we click purchase options, this one's going to be on Lien Hub. So here's the instructions to go to Lien Hub and find it, and then purchase right there. So yeah, it's just going to depend on the county. We'll take you to the right source to purchase. Quick pit stop in Louisiana. We have 2 new parcels in September, both in the New Orleans Redevelopment Authority land bank, it looks like. So not too much exciting going on there. Louisiana is more of an auction state, not a ton OTC available. Maryland, we had a little bit of action this week, 17 new parcels. All of these are in Baltimore City. We are tracking at least a dozen OTC inventory counties in Maryland, but Baltimore City really gets most of the churn. Michigan's going to be another quick one. Wayne County, it looks like we have 1 property removed. I haven't seen anything added to Wayne County since July when those 9 parcels were added. Looks like 5 of those 9 already sold. They're showing unavailable on our screen here, so people acted on that quickly. Let's go on to Missouri. We have some land banks there. I believe we're talking about the Kansas City land bank here. 2 new properties added. This one actually has a structure on it. So let me go to panorama view here on our street view. And let's just take a look. This is, what you might find in a tax deed house sometimes. It's like a probably a decent neighborhood, but you need a chainsaw just to get started on this guy. You're going to want to clean that lot up, and once you buy it, don't clean it up yet. But if you were trying to buy this property, purchase steps are right here by OTC from the Kansas City, Missouri Land Bank. Click on that. Takes you to where you would do that. I think we're able to get you straight to the property application page. Yeah, apply for this property right there. So we save you a lot of time finding that thing, just taking you right to it. From there, you can pick it up with the land bank and negotiate a purchase. But yeah, that's Missouri. It looks like we have a little steady churn there, a little bit of green, a little bit of red every month, a few added, a few taken away. So let's go on to New York. There's several land banks we're tracking there. Again, some steady churn across the board, green and red, over this year. Looks like we've added 2 properties in Albany. Not a lot going on there, but one of them has structure. So this just got added. It's a row house here, and it's we have all the information. 190 ARV. That's 1,800 a month in rent estimate. So could be a good acquisition for your portfolio. Click on that green purchase now button, and there you go. We have all that information to go buy it. I believe we take you to the application page here too. Yes. So this is where you buy from the Albany Land Bank. You have to click on these documents here, I believe is how you do it on their website. Slightly different than the other land banks we've looked at. So uh, we're going to move on from New York to Oklahoma. I don't know if we talked about it much last month. There was a spike in August. We got 369 new OTCs. This month we only have 6 new. It's kind of the reaction after the June auctions. Eventually those OTCs show up. This month it was Garvin County had the new ones. Oklahoma, you're buying just an OTC tax deed with no redemption. You can do that pretty quickly, straight up with the county. Pennsylvania repository sales, nothing new this month, probably because we're in upset sale season. Say that 5 times fast. So with the upset sales going on, you're not going to see much added to repositories until they complete, but we do see some sales going on because these things are unavailable now, so they sold out of the uh, repository inventories. Tennessee, just one show in town. It's the Shelby Land Bank. 5 properties added in September. So you've got a few to look from. Let's just pick this first one. It looks like it has a structure. It's on a corner of a street there. So not bad looking at all. $107,000 ARV. They're asking $66,000. Probably the biggest gripe I hear about the Memphis Shelby Land Bank is their asking price can be high. But in my book, a $66,000 price tag on a $107,000 house is a deal. Uh, the biggest variable here is going to be what condition is the property. I know what I could probably resell it for. I know what I could probably rent it for. I know what it's roughly going to cost me to buy. But how much rehab does it need? Is it 10 grand? Is it 50? Don't know. So if you have a nice budget, the Shelby Land Bank can get you some good deals like that to move forward with. We see so much in Memphis. There's just a boatload of opportunity there. If you were building a portfolio, it might be a good place to start. So Wisconsin is our last OTC inventory to look at. Nothing new since March. However, we had 12 parcels removed this month, so they did update their list. We'll give you more on this in our next video. We're going to do some more digging into this particular purchase area. So should be interesting to learn more about that. But last thing here I'm going to show you is the dashboard. We're looking at the top section. If you have never scrolled past it, there's foreclosure and deed auctions and lien auctions here. But just below that, there's the top OTC markets. On the left panel are deed and land banks, which basically they're very similar. Some states kind of treat land banks as their tax deed. So we lump those together, and right down the list you can see Alabama, Missouri, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Mississippi, just straight down the list, county by county, who has the most parcels available. Same thing on the right-hand table here. You have the tax lien markets right there. Arizona is the top 4, then Florida, then immediately you get into the West Virginias, and you don't have to look far before you have another West Virginia. So the impact of the West Virginia OTCs is showing up on the dashboard. This is a great place for you to keep up with where the market's going, what are some of the totals. So I really hope this video has helped you out. I hope you've learned more about OTCs in general, as well as some hot markets. This West Virginia market we're excited about. I really hope it ends up being something profitable for you and for a lot of people out there. I think it's anytime I see an OTC market with that size, it just gets my attention. We started out, and in our early days, we saw Alabama, Florida, Arizona, Arkansas, Mississippi, all around that size. A lot of them have dwindled, probably thanks to us a little bit. But when we find a new market, I just can't wait to tell you about it because I want you to try it out, see if it's a good fit, and tell us about it. Tell us if things do well, if you run into trouble. It helps us out to understand and help other people. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. Best of luck in this. I think there's so much opportunity depending on where you're shopping. There's a lot to follow here. If you like these videos, please like the video. Literally, click the like button in YouTube so we know to make more of them. If you want to subscribe, that means you're going to get notified when they come out. And if you were a subscriber last month in August, you would have gotten a notification about the video that told you tomorrow morning, Mobile County, Alabama is going to open up the phones to take bids on, or to take purchases over the phone, not bids, purchases on these properties. And some of you made a great profit off that already. You've already flipped your liens, or maybe you're foreclosing on them now. So it really does pay to subscribe to this channel and get some of that breaking news as soon as we can get it to you. In this case, West Virginia, we give you 3 weeks notice before that market opens up. Hope it's profitable. I hope it's a good experience. I hope the bidding's not complicated. We're gonna have to wait and see on some of those questions there. But yeah, we're excited to share it with you, and we'll have more to share with you next month. We'll do this again. And lastly, don't forget our meetup. Big green banner on the dashboard. I'll click it right there. Sign up for that. We'd love to get to know you a little bit. That 30-minute casual meet and greet is going to be great for that. And then on to the main event at 8:30 Eastern, and we'll take it from there. So hope you have a great week coming up, and thanks for watching.